What's up, everyone? Welcome to Level 7. It is time for another episode of the Agents of Fandom podcast. I'm your host, TJ Zwarich. We got a special show today. We're not breaking down a TV show. We're not breaking down a movie. It's been a while since we've had one of these where we're just talking about news. We're going to talk a little bit about a video game as well. And to break it all down with me, I got my friend and co-host, Damon Gray. How you doing, Damon?
Bonjour. Usually I say something like Alola or something, but it's just bonjour because it's Pokemon back in Paris and only in Paris. You think if Paris is more than France? Nope. We're stuck. We will be talking a Pokemon game. Yes, of course.
We'll be diving into our full thoughts on the brand new Pokemon game, Pokemon Legends ZA. I'm excited to talk about this with you guys. Damon, I feel like you and I are at very similar points in the game, but our wonderful guest today has had a chance to play the game to completion and write a very lovely review about it as well. Joining us today, I feel terrible because I meant to ask you how to pronounce your last name before the show and I forgot. So now I'm going to wing it and hope I get it right. Ryan Guar.
Okay.
Guar, how you doing?
Yeah, brilliant, perfect. I'm good. I feel like I should go something French now, but I couldn't think of anything fast enough, so I'm gonna have to stick to English. Galarian, I guess, in the Pokemon universe it would be. But no, really happy to be here. Happy to be talking about this game because I think it's such a fascinating thing for like where the franchise is. So yeah, happy to dig into it.
Talk some Pokemon, talk a little bit about some Marvel and other announcements at New York Comic-Con. But before we do, I want to know from both of you, what you watching? What you've been watching lately? If you've been playing something other than Pokemon, we can include that because we're obviously going to give our full Pokemon breakdown. Or in Damon's case, often what you've been reading. So Damon, I'll throw it to you first. What you've been watching, reading, and playing.
Watching wise, I've been saying it for the last few weeks now, but Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I've been hinting at it. We should have an interview with a special someone connected to that title soon. So keep an eye out for that. Also been reading a lot of Green Arrow because I just got back my DC Infinite app access. Very exciting. Not the super duper access that you could pay like, I think it's like $100 and some a year, but you would essentially be caught up on every DC comic up to about the last 30 days, which is an incredible deal, honestly. But I got the smaller version than that. So I've been catching up on Joshua Williamson and Chris Condone's Green Arrow run that is unfortunately ending. And the reason I started this was because everyone's like, man, this sucks. I wish this book was still going. They essentially kind of canceled it because of low sales. And I've been reading it and damn, it sucks this book is ending. I didn't pick up on the AF had always told me on the Comic Corner to go read this book. And I got the first issue when it came out. We have an interview with the artist, Sean Isaacs. But the first arc has to deal with what, TJ, that would immediately put me off.
Time travel.
Yes, immediately. But I was like, oh, God, why? After that, though, it's a delight. And it's very gritty. It's very cool. A lot of DC tie-ins, and then it goes into Chris Condon stuff. So what I'm trying to say is, guys, if you don't like a comic book arc, give it a few issues. See how the next arc is, because then you may be kicking yourself. But it's very
good. You can check out Damon's full thoughts on all of his, not all of, but many of his favorite books coming to an end on the Comic Corner last week. And of course, Damon, Fat Thor, AF, they're live every Thursday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time for the Comic Corner. I do want to chat a little bit with you, though, Damon. Actually, I'm going to go to Ryan first, and then I want to come back to you, Damon, because we talked Gen V last week. I want to get your thoughts on the penultimate episode, and I want to know your thoughts on the season finale of Peacemaker, because we had a nice heated argument after the penultimate. And I'm very eager to hear your thoughts on that very polarizing finale. But Ryan, I'll throw it to you first. What you've been watching?
Yeah, so I've been attending the London Film Festival, so a bunch of art house movies has been what I've been watching. But in terms of TV, I've been watching the new season of Smiling Friends, as excellent as ever. It's so good. I've also been watching Peacemaker, and I'm up to date, so we can definitely talk about that. I have a lot of thoughts. It's been a very weird season of TV. In terms of reading, I've been trying to keep up with the Ultimate Universe. I'm not very far in. I've just been reading I think I just did issue 7 of the Ultimate Black Panther, which has been really cool. I think my favorite, like Spider-Man's been really good, but Ultimate X-Men has been sick. Like I love what she's been doing with that, like the art and just the interpretation of that lore. It's so cool. Like, yeah, that'd be my. That's what I've been recommending to all the normies in my life. It's just been, yeah, if you're reading any comics right now, just pick up Ultimate X-Men because you can just pick it up and just have a good time with that. In terms of playing the new FIFA, I guess if you have to call it EAFC now, but I don't do that. I call it FIFA. It dropped and it's been ruining my life as every FIFA has done since I was like 7 years old. So I've been playing a ton of that. I've been playing Pokemon Heart Gold. Like before I got my code for ZA, I played about 10 hours of Heart Gold just because train journeys and stuff, which has been really fun. I'm always playing Tetris. I'm trying to think of what else. I think there's one more thing. Um, oh yeah, I got my Ambinic, like my handheld emulator. I don't know if I should be saying this in a public platform, but I found a Game Boy Advance port of Celeste. So it's someone that's basically demade Celeste to be a GBA game. It's like very similar and very different. Sometimes it completely crashes. Sometimes it traps you in a wall. But overall, it's pretty cool to have like a Celeste is a GBA style kind of game. So yeah, that's been everything going on in my head at the moment.
All right, Damon. I feel like I kind of want to say Peacemaker is the grand finale, but potential mild spoilers for Gen V and Peacemaker. So if you haven't watched those yet and you're still planning on it, fast forward ahead a little bit. I'll make sure to have the timestamps in when we get to the next section. But Damon, first thoughts on Gen V, and then take me to your thoughts on the Peacemaker finale.
Gen V. So I'm allowed to go full spoilers at this point because I feel like I kind of have to.
Yeah,
with
I
this
said mild, but
episode.
I meant full. Dive in.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like our theories have been right. I know you haven't been able to theorize, but the theories that like myself and everyone in the chat just kind of brings up, and we're like, man, I don't know. I feel like there's like another twist coming. There's something weird with this body. And yeah, we were right. Like that was Godolkin essentially puppeteering Cypher in the end, which is what, because I was like, it's weird that Cypher, like Murray couldn't figure out like he has no V in his system, but he's still powerful. And I'm like, yeah, there's something to him. And I texted you afterwards, and I'm like, yeah, this is very Purple Man esque, which is a very like from Jessica Jones, the TV show, especially, which is one of my favorite villains ever because you add on the factor of not knowing where the villain is and who he's controlling the entire time. And I love that aspect. So going into a finale now, I'm like, man, I wish this wasn't a finale. I wish I had like a couple episodes of this. But I think the show's been paced very well. I really like all of these characters. I've been enjoying it. I still think now, as of this episode, hopefully going to the finale, I feel it afterwards, that Gen V I like more than the boys. And I hope Gen V continues after the boys, just because I like these characters a lot.
Couldn't agree more. And I forgot I was gonna call you a bondage baby, and it totally slipped my mind. But going into
And
the
again, Amazon. I'm just gonna say Amazon, even though it's like the whole studio. I don't need this series. I don't need this franchise to have unnecessary like shock value moments. It doesn't need it. You
it
can
was
use
funny.
it.
It was funny.
You
That
can
the
use it
bondage
like when
baby
it
was
adds
funny.
to a story. Like I always bring up the very first moment with Huey and his girlfriend goes boom. That's supposed to be like, that is a shock value moment that adds to the story. It kicks off the story. And then you go into the world like, oh my God, these heroes we looked up to, they're so fucked up. But now we're just doing it just to be like, he had a guy in his butt. And I'm
he
like,
was there so that we could develop emotions for the bondage baby, so that we felt sad when Godolphin
didn't have
wiped
to
him out.
be in his butt. Like, it's just like stuff like that. And like, we've seen the like him previously. I don't know. Like, I feel like we could have done a little bit more with that. You know how you could have really felt bad? Bring up the tail girl, or like the girl with the hair, like stuff that like we've already seen. Like, I didn't need to add another character to this to like be like, oh my God, he's terrible, he's evil, or now he's just like a throwaway. He's just a dead guy because he had opposable thumb toes.
I thought it was funny, but Damon, I want to hear your thoughts on the Peacemaker season 2 finale. High expectations, didn't meet them. What were your thoughts?
Okay. I want to talk about this with you specifically because I did go back and listen to the final episode. I'm very glad Sean was on. I'm very glad Sean was on and not me, because I feel like you would have honestly just kicked me to a curb in terms of debate, and Sean was really good at holding. I feel like I'm in the middle of you two, even though you both essentially had the same rating in the end, which I find funny because when it came to Peacemaker, I was not digging that show for the first 5 episodes. I was like, it's fine. In the episode 6 twist, I'm like, yes, now it's starting. And I had huge expectations, obviously, for the finale. My question for you, TJ, which do you feel like you are more satisfied with in the finale? The arc of Chris, or where it leads off with the DCU going forward? Because that was the two things that we were debating on. It's going to do one or the other. And I just want to know before I get into this, are you more satisfied with Chris's arc and you don't like where it's going forward, or you don't understand it, you thought that was rushed, or the opposite way?
Kind of neither, actually. Kind of neither, kind of both. Chris's arc, Peacemaker's arc specifically, I didn't feel like it was anything exciting. I don't feel like he's at a much different place now than he was at the beginning, outside of his friends just telling him their true feelings, which is great, but it felt earned because of how freaking good Ads' speech was. That was probably my favorite scene of the season so far. And Danielle Brooks was so incredible that it made me feel like, I mean, hey, if I got that motivational speech coming my way, I doesn't matter what I was going through, I'd be there. I'd be ready to rock after that. The Chris Harcourt stuff was building up to it all season, and it felt just like a unexciting resolution for me. It just, that was like a, well, duh. Yeah, that's kind of where I thought it was going. In terms of what the DCU was setting up, the final results, very interesting. Setting up Salvation, setting up Checkmate for a potential future series. I was saying I do think that's going to be an adaptation of what the Waller series was. It's going to basically be a combined Peacemaker season 3 Waller series, and it's going to be called Checkmate. And so I like that. The whole pacing of the episode leading up to it, though, is what I mostly didn't like, with the constant montages of the universe hopping. Didn't feel that exciting. I was just waiting for something to excite me, and nothing ever did.
Okay. I wasn't expecting anything really to pop up between the door, like maybe some people were. That wasn't the thing that really excited me. I am with you. I found where we left off more exciting than the whole Chris's journey. I do agree. I think he is roughly in the same space, slightly different, obviously, because he had to essentially relive the death of his father and relive nearly the death of his brother and everything. So I think he's like roughly in the same spot in the end. But I do love the idea of a salvation. I did go back to read that story. Nobody has to go read that story. It's going to be completely different than what James Gunn is going to do. That story in the comics is essentially like a place where they put villains and maybe some gray area characters, but it's mostly villains. And then they just like make their own little society. And it's like Joker and Lex Luthor gangs bashing heads against each other while there's this other thing going. It will not be like that at all. It will not be like that at all. Where I could see it go, and I been messaging AF about this, who's our big DC guy over on the Comic Corner. I'm like, I could see eensy beensy little pieces of what Kingdom Come is going forward. So I am very fascinated to where this is all going in the DCU. Where there's like the Justice Gang kind of are maybe assisting the government into putting people away. They are the targets. Like, is there a line? The Authority bringing back up into play and everything. We know that was a project that's been put on hold. I think where it's going, I think is very interesting, and I do like it. As for the whole series as a combined thing, as a set group, I thought it was okay. I think it's probably the weakest of any of the DCU projects we've gotten so far. I think it's one of the lower rated, like not my favorite of any James Gunn superhero comic book project that we've ever gotten, but it's not bad. It's just okay.
I'm just now noticing, and for those watching us on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, so you can see, and make sure you tune into the video so that you can see Damon's beautiful Nightwing sweater that he's got on. I'm just now noticing that. Ryan, I want your thoughts on this as well, but before I forget about it, I do want to throw out what I've been watching as like my before bed show lately, and I got to give props to you because you brought up that like, hey, you should go revisit Superman the animated series, like give it a little bit more of a chance than you've already given it.
Yeah,
that show is so fucking good. It is incredible. I just like, yeah. I've been like, there's a couple episodes I've slept through and I've just kind of like skirted past, but I make sure to look in the descriptions and pinpoint like, okay, this is an arc, this is an episode I really want to tune in for. I just watched the episode where Batman is missing, and so Superman has to go to Gotham, and he's with Robin, and he's dressing up as Superman. The art in that episode of like the way they're doing facial expressions and things like that, it is just freaking incredible. It is such a good show. So I want to thank you for that shout out because I'm having a great time. Ryan, what were your thoughts on the Peacemaker finale?
Can you hear me? Am I here? Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, Peacemaker. I feel like Peacemaker is a weird kind of thing for James Gunn where. Can you not hear me at all?
It's cutting out pretty bad with the crackling, but as soon as we stopped, it actually started being better. So give us one more test there, and we may be good.
Okay, test. We good?
Yeah, no cracks.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant, cool. Sorry about this. But yeah, Peacemaker, I feel like it's an interesting ground for James Gunn to get out all of his James Gunness and put out all the messiness or the edginess or his montages, sets of music he likes. I feel like it's just Serena where he just gets to express all that. And then you get something like Superman where he just kind of locks in and delivers something really streamlined and a bit more focused. And I kind of excuse Peacemaker for inherently being a bit less focused. That being said, I just didn't find it a really enjoyable season. I really grew to love the show in the first season. And I feel like this one really drifts. And it really just relies on you liking these characters a lot, which I do. And I don't mind spending time with them. I love Vigilante. I love him so much. Anytime he's on the screen, I'm happy. But at the end, it felt unsatisfying, especially after, was it 6 and 7, the episode set in Earth X, right? I think it was those two. That where it just ramps up to 11 for 2 episodes after being at like 5 for the rest of the season, and then the finale goes back down to 5 again. And it's like, wait, what was that? Because that was really cool and that was really interesting. I wish you were doing that the whole time, or you just never did it and made this just a cool little chill hangout season where we just explore Chris's emotional state and it's not too crazy. We're just kind of, hanging out with these guys. It kind of falls in between the two sticks, and I don't think it really pleased anyone in the end because everyone seems pretty dissatisfied, no matter what you were looking for, whether you were looking for the Superman cameo, whether you're looking for just a big action set piece, whether you're looking for a good hint towards the future of the DCU. It just, or if you just wanted a happy ending for everyone, it didn't really deliver on any of those points. It kind of falls in between a few things. There's plenty that I liked about the season, but yeah, I don't think it then landed in a satisfying place. Yeah.
Next thing I want to touch on before we swap into Pokemon, I want to talk a little bit about the New York Comic Con announcements, mostly from Marvel Studios. And if there was anything else for anyone, feel free to chime in on, something that excited you. If you want the full breakdown of all the comic book announcements from DC, from Marvel Comics, as well as some independent stuff, make sure you check out the most recent episode of the Comic Corner up on the YouTube page and wherever you get your podcasts. The one thing I want to touch on for me is it was a pretty cool announcement for next teaser for the next season of Invincible. It's coming out this next year. It's not going to be a really long wait. We got Lee Pace coming in. I love this show. We're going to be covering it again weekly on the podcast. That was a really fun announcement for me. But the Marvel 2026 slate has been announced, and we didn't get all the dates. But holy shit, is this going to be a year for Marvel Studios? Now, I mean, if the content isn't great, it could go terribly bad, concluding with Avengers Doomsday. But my goodness, this looks like it's going to be an absolutely hell of a year. We get Wonder Man pushed back from December to January, and it does put us in 2026 now. I've heard a bunch of different reasons. Brad Winderbaum said that he didn't want it to interfere with people's Christmas watching. He wanted to make sure it could be prioritized. And, and I can't remember what podcast this was on that I was listening to. I think it was the Ringerverse, where they were talking about it was on the Direct. Shout out to the Direct podcast. It was Matt Remke and David Thompson discussing this. And, when you do turn on Disney Plus, you see Home Alone, you see Elf. I get it that it's like they are wanting their own Christmas stuff to be prioritized, but that would also line up with Percy Jackson if it was in December. And I think they're going to want each of these shows to get their own time to shine, and probably want to wait to put it out until after Percy Jackson comes out. That's my read on the situation. But before we even talk about the rest of the slate, Damon, what did this Wonder Man trailer do for you? Did it get you more excited for the show, less excited for the show? To me, there's not a whole lot to break down, other than there were some really fun moments. The acting looks good. And I was surprised that there is literally zero superhero stuff in the whole trailer.
I feel like there's going to be literally zero superhero stuff in pretty much the whole show. I think it's going to be a pretty meta show, and I think that will be pretty fun. My biggest thing with this show, I'm begging. Not even begging, I am almost demanding it at this point. I'm sure many other people as well. I need this damn thing to be marketed well, because Ironheart got thrown into the fire. I feel like the Wakanda show got thrown into the fire, literally just got put out there, and everyone's like, "What?" Right? I need this to be marketed. So if you are putting this to another month in order so it's not doubling up on Christmas stuff, so it's not doubling up on Percy Jackson stuff, and it has its own month to be a series, and you're not going to dump all the episodes out at once. I also hope that's not the case. If it's 4 episodes, that perfect. 4, it's boom, 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 done, right? I need this to be marketed. I need this to be advertised. I need people to know about this. If you believe in this product, if you believe in this show, if you believe this is something that this is good, put some money into it, market it, tell people about it. Because I feel like Yaya's the only one doing anything, and he showed up to one of the red carpets as Wonder, in character. And I'm like, that's great. That's a great way to do it. I just need a little bit more than just him marketing himself, because it almost feels it's like, oh my God, what are we doing? And there's only one and technically 2 movies coming out next year. I'll split them in half because one is a Sony movie and one is a Marvel Studios movie. But a lot of the budget, I hope, from Marvel Studios gets put into these shows and advertising them. And I hope it's also not going to be overshadowed by Daredevil, which will be coming out 2 months later.
Which it very well could be. We already know that this is going to be dropped all 8 episodes at once. It's not going to be a weekly release. And so that
it is all episodes at once?
Yeah, it's all 8 episodes at once. Or at least that's like, if I'm not mistaken, that is what people are insinuating based on how the release sounded, where it says streaming on Disney Plus on this date in January. It didn't say premieres the first episode, like it just says.
Yeah.
And so that very much makes it look like it's all things, but I don't think anyone at Marvel, unless I'm mistaken, has come out and said, yes, it will be all 8 episodes at one time. But I think that's the case. Ryan, quick Wonder Man thoughts.
No, yeah, I think it looks great. I love Yaya as an actor. I think this character and what they're trying to do with him is interesting, and I like the idea of like a Hollywood send up. I know it rubs some people the wrong way for the MCU to comment on superhero stuff in a meta way, but I quite like that, especially for a show that feels like it's on the side and doing its own thing. But I agree with Damon. Like these shows, they just feel like they're tossing them out there, and it always tends to be when they have a person of color in the lead or prominent in the show, where they tend to just say, "Yeah, it's all dropping at once." We're kind of sneaking it out there. Um, Hopefully, this gets a proper release. I know it's kind of in the air whether it does get week to week. But yeah, it feels that the MCU is kind of in a pivot phase where they've realized that not everyone cares about the Marvel C list, and they are trying to please both parts of the fan base, the people that are very much here for Spider-Man and Iron Man, and for us, the nerds who really care about every single detail in the MCU and will watch compilations of like every scene in the MCU in chronological order and care about that stuff. But yeah, I have faith it will be good. What I'm really hoping for from one of these Marvel shows is for there to be a like vision, and like for someone to get to actually tell the story they want to tell in full without interference, or without these 3 episodes being made by this person and these 2 episodes made by this person. I feel like that's kind of played a lot of Disney Plus stuff in general, like on the Star Wars side too. So yeah, hopefully the show feels cohesive and of one piece, in a way that maybe a couple of shows haven't in the past.
After Wonder Man, or when things get exciting, we have Wonder Man in January. We have Daredevil, like not after Wonder Man, inclusive of Wonder Man, but when you look at 2026 as a whole, that to me is when it's like, oh damn, this is going to be a fun year, because we have Wonder Man in January, we have Daredevil Born Again in March, we have X-Men 97 in the summer, but also in the summer, we have Spider-Man Brand New Day. And then in the fall, right after Spider-Man Brand New Day, we got your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man swinging onto Disney Plus. And then concluding things off, we have the conclusion to the WandaVision trilogy, they're calling it, with WandaVision, Agatha All Along, and now Vision Quest. That's going to end the year before the big finale, Avengers Doomsday. As a fan, I don't think I've been this excited for a year of Marvel Studios projects since the No Way Home year. I think would probably be the last time. And if this eclipses that in my excitement, since the Endgame and Infinity War set of years. So this is a really fun time to be a Marvel fan. I think the overall general populace excitement has certainly fallen from where it was a few years ago. But like Ryan, like you said, the fellow nerds like us, I feel like this is a really, really exciting time to be a fan. Damon, what of that? Feel free to bring up something that stands out of that group. But the question I want to ask you is your thoughts on Vision Quest, because it kind of seems like they're going to be adapting the Vision comic, where he's got his little suburban family-ish, but the characters are not going to be the same as what we got in that family. For what we know, there haven't been any, at least like publicly, there hasn't been any inklings of a Viv Vision yet, but we're getting human versions of Ultron, Friday, Edith, Jarvis, with some of them voice actors coming back. Some of them, like James Spader, will be back as Ultron. We have Even like the Agent Carter actor and the guy from Endgame who plays Jarvis, he's going to be back in this one. What do you think their take on the story is going to be?
I don't know, because it's already so wildly driven away from what Tom King's The Visions is. It's already drastically its own thing. What I am so looking forward to with that is it feels like this is so weird. I mean, we're only one season into Daredevil, and we know it's going to get spinoffs and stuff. So that is like in its infancy of its little stories that it's telling. Between WandaVision and Multiverse of Madness, and then going into Agatha all along, that's been like one of the few continued stories that Marvel Studios has been putting out, at the very least, on television. And it's felt good. Like Jack Schaefer isn't involved in this though. So I'm gonna put an asterisk on that. And that worries me a bit. Actually, greatly. Not gonna lie, it worries me greatly. So we'll see where it goes. But I am really looking forward to that. I'm expecting nothing of what Tom King's Divisions is. Like for an adaptation point of view. Because if Viv's not in it, if we're not gonna have essentially the wife that would be Wanda in the whole family, like it's just completely different.
I think the only thing that will maybe be the same is just like it's about a family. It's about Vision starting a family. That's kind of just going to be like the only through point where it's like it's not Viv, it's Tommy, and we'll just kind of see where it goes from there. I am excited to see Tommy Maximoff Speed fully in the MCU. This is going to be a lot of fun. I do hope we get Wiccan, and I do hope that Vision Quest is a backdoor pilot for more Young Avengers stuff. And because
they ain't young anymore.
I know, because these are now not Young Avengers, they're champions. They're
just the Avengers. They are just the other Avengers, not the ones with
exactly.
Z, but the Avengers. How could you phonetically mix that one up? I don't
know. You just have to put them on the West Coast and call them the West
Avengers
Coast
with a J instead of a G.
Maybe we get some you said you don't think there's going to be much superhero stuff in Wonder Man, but maybe we do get some West Coast Avengering when people realize how crazy his power set actually is. He just wants to be an actor, but that's like I'm not also familiar with Wonder Man.
Also, if this Wonder Man also even has powers, this could straight up just be a commentary on the superhero media and Marvel Studios, like a self-imposed commentary. I don't even know if this version of Wonder Man will have powers.
If I'm betting on it, I'm going to say yes, but I could see your point. I think like best case scenario for them, this is their version of the studio on Apple TV Plus. Like that's if this goes well, I feel like that's kind of the best case scenario would be having that. Other than that, anything from this list that's really kind of it all excites me, but anything that stands out is like the number one.
Obviously, Daredevil is going to be up there. We get to return Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones is my favorite Netflix series. Season 1 is my favorite Netflix Marvel anything they ever put out. I absolutely adored it. And I'm also going to shout out Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2 because that was only a year ago. We already have a Season 2. We both really liked that show, especially towards the end. And we both agreed that where the ending left, we were so excited for what's to come, and we don't have to wait years, plural, for it. It's already coming. How exciting. What a concept. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
I agree with you. Like we're still Wonder Man and even Vision Quest. These are still kind of the final pieces of the old strategy, not the old regime, because a lot of it was still stuff from the new regime. But since they've shifted strategies to like, we don't want to spread out and do all of these different shows. We want to pick a few shows and give people multiple seasons, hopefully one of them every year. And we are now seeing that come to fruition with X-Men 97, with Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and with Daredevil Born Again.
And the spin-offs that'll eventually probably come from Daredevil. We know that we're going to be getting a Daredevil Punisher mini or a one-shot or something. I could absolutely see a Jessica Jones side project. I know she kind of hinted a bit towards it during the Phase Hero live that was also at New York Comic Con. Purple Baby arc, fingers crossed on that one. I think that would be amazing and terrifying at the same time. You don't need to bring in Emma Frost. That's okay. You can bring in anyone else to play kind of like a side character in that role. It's so cool. It's cool. Go read it, by the way, because guess, TJ, who wrote that book? It was
Who?
Kelly Thompson.
Sorry, I was muted and I didn't get back.
Muted. It was Kelly Thompson.
You can find Damon's many interviews with Kelly Thompson up on the Agents of Fandom YouTube page because they're besties, and that's the coolest thing. She has written some awesome
Now,
work.
where's the Jeff DeLanchar content, Mr. Winderbaum? Where is it?
True, I brought it up. I tried. We're trying to make it happen, and so hopefully we get some more Jeff coming in the future as well. I think it's time, my friend, to pivot to some Pokemon. Pokemon's Legends VA. If you're watching on YouTube and you have already hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, you have noticed that Ryan has disappeared. He's having some mic and some headphone issues. So hopefully we can get him back in for his thoughts on Pokemon before the end of this. If not, you can find his Pokemon review up at various places. I believe the Rolling Stone is one of them and a couple others as well. So you can find his full thoughts on Pokemon, but we will dive in together, keeping it spoiler free, which I don't think there has been much to spoil it to this point, really. There is, I'd say, a research project where for some people there will be a very cool, exciting thing revealed and given to you. But other than that,
if you've never played X and Y, TJ, yes, that would be a surprise.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are picking this up for the first time and didn't have a 3DS and haven't played Pokemon X and Y. Mm-hmm. I've played every Pokemon game except X, Y, Sun and Moon. Give me a break.
You finally played Black. Did you play Black and White, Black and White too?
I did. I played those on a airport trip.
Okay.
That's usually the only time I play a 3DS at this point, is if I'm traveling.
Got it.
Overall, I think we got Ryan back. Let's see how we're doing from a mic perspective, and if it's going well, give me your thoughts on Pokemon Legends ZA.
Yeah, I think it's okay. If you guys can give me a thumbs up. Yeah, brilliant, amazing. Yeah, fuck Safari, it's all about Chrome now. CA, very interesting time I had with the game. So for transparency, I had to turn my review in on Monday, but I only received my code on Friday night. So basically I started playing on like Saturday midday, and turned in my review on Monday with about 20 hours in the bank. I really like the loop of this game, but I think it has some glaring flaws that stop it from being a great Pokemon game. I think my review ended up being quite negative because I was a bit frustrated about certain things that just weren't there. For example, I think the first thing people are noticing now, as soon as you boot up the game and you get into a cutscene for the first time, is the lack of voice acting. Yes. And the fact that you see characters' mouths just flapping and flapping and nothing comes out of them. And it feels really weird. And I was like, is there a bug? Or is something by default turned off in the settings on the review copy that I've been given that I need to flag with them? Because this just seems so wrong. But no, this is just how they chose to do it. But aside from that actual gameplay stuff, I think the open world is such an interesting open world, because I don't think I've ever played an open world game where the only modes of travel are fast travel and walking, and that's it. Like even like indie games like A Short Hike, There's like a boat in that game, and I think you can like paraglide and stuff like that. I think in general, in an open world game, you get like running along with like some kind of ground vehicle, whether it's like a horse or a car or something, right? And then you get some kind of air thing, whether it's like the I forgot the Pokemon you use in Legends Arceus to get around. But you know, that game you get different Pokemon to help you traverse in different ways. And the traversal in this open world is literally just walking. And we all dream of living in a walkable city in real life. In a game where you're trying to get from place to place and mission to mission, fast travel's fine, especially on the Switch 2. It's like that, it's great. But I do miss the feeling of like, I wish there was like a motorbike you could use or some Pokemon you could ride on to just fly around the city and just see the sights in a way.
If only in the original game, Ryan, there
Oh.
was a way that you can travel not by running, and literally skate around on skates, roller skates, or in the actual city that this game is based on, you could ride a go-go and get around pretty quickly. You can't here.
Yeah.
Or give me a bike. I'll take a bike. Give me
There's
the
no
OG
bikes
bike.
in Lumiose, mister. I've never played X and Y. You get your skates and you'll like it.
Well, then give me the skates and I'll like it. But if not, give me a damn bike.
Yeah, Pokemon staple, the bike, just isn't a thing in this game. But no, apart from that, I do have a lot of positive things to say about this game. I just had to get that out, you know. It's just like fix it, just do the basics and you're fine. But no, I think like first of all, the best thing they could have done was take the catching mechanic from Legends Arceus and port it right over here. I think that Scarlet and Violet was weaker for not having that mechanic, and I know it's different. I know people don't want the mainline games to veer too much, but I think it would have just improved the game. A really good game that I like, bugs aside, you know, I think it would have made it quite a fun experience. But yeah, just getting into one of those wild zones and just tossing out Pokeballs to everything you see, it's great. It feels amazing. And the shining jewel of the game, I think, is the battle system. I think it's amazing. Like the first few times I got into a battle, I was like, I think I might be too dumb for this. Like there's so much happening on the screen. Like they've just used Psybeam and it's just sent a blast across the screen. And I've been looking at the battle log. I've been looking at the moves, whether they're super effective or not. And then the whole time I didn't realize that my health has gone down to the yellow. And I'm like, wait, I need to heal or something. And then you realize that there's a cooldown meter for the healing and stuff like that. It's interesting how this game holds your hand in the battles very little compared to past Pokemon games where they make you sit through what another trailer, you know, another trainer do a battle so you can understand all this stuff. They just kind of throw you in. And it is chaotic to begin with. But after a while, you learn to realize, oh, I'm allowed to look here. Like this is where I'm supposed to look at this time. This is where I'm supposed to look at this time. And there's so many ways to approach these battles. You know, you can just spam around, like going clockwise in your moves and just go them, like, not even think about anything else. Or it can be really strategic, swap out your Pokemon for certain situations. I think it's terrific. And every time you get into a trainer battle, it's never unwanted. Or even the wild Pokemon battles like an alpha, you really relish those challenges because the battling is so much fun. And if it was like 10% worse than it is, I don't think this game works because so much of its identity is based in this new battle system. And a lot of things that are great about the game are kind of taken from elsewhere, like that Arceus catching mechanic. But yeah, thank God they nailed this system because I'd happily see it in Gen 10. Like if Gen 10 has this battle system, I'm great. I'm high. I'm really happy with it. I felt the same way about the Arceus battle system, the strong and agile style moves. I thought they were a really cool innovation, but this just takes it a step further and makes his battles just really fun and different every single time you get into a battle. So yeah, lots of positive things, but a few niggling negatives overall.
couldn't agree more. And I think we stick on this battle system for a while. I think it is, like you said, truly incredible. It's a lot of fun. It feels like a real Pokemon battle because you have to make moves on the fly. It feels like you're combining the battle style we've always known and loved with the battle style we grew up watching. But Damon, I saw you bring this up in your post on Threads, I believe it was. There is one crucial thing missing that I think is really holding it back from being like perfect.
It needs a dodge mechanic, a proper dodge mechanic. And the more I played this game, so that was like about 2 hours in. I had like a very quick, like, here's 2 hours in, here's what I think. One of the other negatives I had, I feel like Lumios itself is both big and small. I don't know how else to put it. It's like, I just wish it was like either a little bit bigger or I wish there was a little bit more. But when I'm walking around, I'm like, yeah, no, the city feels pretty big and it's very windy and really detailed. Other things, I'll just put this out there because I know a lot of people are complaining about it, and I complained about it too the first time I saw it. Some buildings look amazing. Some buildings are a single PNG slapped across one thing, and it's like there's no texture here. It is just a PNG of windows, and that looks bad. But there's other parts of the game that visually look so good, and I'm like, I don't know if they just tried to do that so it can also be played it looks pretty good on Switch 1, by the way. I think all three of us are playing on Switch 2, but it plays very well on Switch 1. I think part of the reasons the buildings look that way is to make it playable essentially on the Switch 1, so it's not incredibly glitchy, incredibly laggy like another Pokemon game that on the Switch 1 that came out about a year and a half ago. So, 2 years ago. So, when it comes to the battle mechanic, there are like a couple moves like double team. Here's what I love about this. I have been playing Pokemon my whole life. Every single generation I have played. Some are better than others. But I think Ryan and I could both like look at moves. TJ too could look at moves. We just know what they do. And here in this game, moves do completely different things. I have to relearn moves that I thought did certain things. Double team, for example, useless ass move in main series game. Like no one needs your evasiveness up because it's an RNG game. Here, that is your dodge mechanic essentially. It's on a timer, but it's your dodge mechanic. So if one of your Pokemon can learn it, that's how you can do it. I just wish there was like another added one, just because like when we grew up watching the anime, you could be like, oh, Pikachu, dodge it, and it's like type of thing, right? Like even if it was something like you also on a very long timer, I feel like that would have pushed it a little bit better. It feels a little weird having the Pokemon in a battle just like loosely follow you at times because I'm trying to dodge things like when you get into bigger battles, there's field hazards, and I'm trying to dodge the field hazards. And meanwhile, my like little Sableye is just like running through them to get back to me. I'm like, what are you doing? Don't go around it, right? Like, so there's a couple odd things in there, but
it's a great first attempt at it. Like this battle
sure.
style feels like it's a couple refinements from being a new just gem for them.
Which I think we all felt the same way about Legends Arceus with the catching mechanic. One thing I do miss about Legends Arceus with the catching mechanic is the ability to throw things to distract Pokemon ahead of you so you can go up and like there's a couple times where like, oh man, I wish I could do that and I can't. They for some reason got rid of that in this game. And I wish that was still here because that was so fun, just like kind of like lurking behind one of the bushes or trees and stuff and getting something from behind, not needing a Pokemon battle.
Yeah. I have a theory on that. It's just that the UI would be insane. Like having to have moves, Pokeballs, and berries and other throwable items.
Yes.
All toggling. It would be a Tears of the Kingdom situation where the fusing mechanic on there, where it's just like menus.
Yes.
And I think it would have been insane. But also, I think like the things you're complaining about with the battle system, I think weirdly they add some strategy to some of these battles. Because if the Pokemon is following you, some battles, without doing spoilers, Pokemon will come to you, the trainer, right? So you can, if I'm trying to get a Hyper Beam landed on this Pokemon, I don't want it to miss, I can lure the enemy Pokemon to me. So I give my Pokemon a fixed target to aim at, right? Because they're both going to come to me and they're both going to be in the same area, and I can get this Hyper Beam to actually land. And most of the time, in these boss battles, especially, these Pokemon run about all over the place, especially if you've seen Starmie with his big ass legs dashing across the bloody field. Like, it's hard to get these guys to actually pin down and actually nail one of these moves. So that can be, actually, I don't think it's intentional from Pokemon, but it adds strategy to the game that you can kind of cheese some battles in a weird way.
But I do, for the most part, really like it. I am also the person, just to put it out there, Legend Arceus is my favorite Pokemon game. I think it was the most refreshing thing Game Freak has ever done with the franchise, and I was so excited for this one. And what they did to it, again, they took something that people got tired of doing, which is battling, and for some people tired of doing, which is catching things, and they just made it fun. They make me want to battle. I go out, like, I debate with myself when I've been playing this. I'm like, do I do like the battling with the other channels, or do I still try to catch some Pokemon? I don't know. I really want to battle, and I need to like rank myself up, type of thing. So, and I have fun doing it. So, hats off to them, because they did. When I was hearing some people being like, if you don't like battling, you may not like this game. I'm like, ugh, I like collecting things more than battling. But they made battling fun, and they still made collecting an important piece. It's definitely a side back piece, but I do feel rewarded for catching multiple things, which is what Arceus also did, is allowed you to like look into your Pokedex and stuff. They do have side missions with the professor for you to essentially get a shiny charm fairly early in the game. I don't know how early, but you can get one like fairly early, it feels like, if you continue to just catch things. And I think that's so rewarding.
The biggest compliment I think I can pay this game is that, like, for example, Damon, you and I are very different types of Pokemon fans. You love, like, Arceus is your favorite. My favorite are the originals. My favorite thing to do is battling and, gyms, Elite Four, training. Your favorite thing to do is collecting. They made a game that satisfied us both. And it is, while it could have been better in many ways so far, I haven't wanted to put it down yet. Every single time I've put it down, it's because I've had something else to do, not because I was like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. And so I think that is a really, really big win. My biggest complaint with it is, like you said, going back to what you said about Lumiose feeling so small and so big at the same time. I do wish the city was smaller, and I wish there was somewhere else I could go, because my favorite part of Pokemon is the journey. Yes. I want to go on a journey, and without that, and just kind of being stuck where we are, that takes away a really big part of my enjoyment. But having said that, I've still been having so much fun. I haven't wanted to put it down. I do have a couple weird nitpicks, one with the new Pokemon games in general and one with this one. And I don't know if I just am heavy thumbed or if either of you have had this problem as well. Whether it's certain times, either in like a map or things like that, I have such a tough time stopping on the location I'm trying to actually stop it on when it's not a already marked location. My cursor's just flying all over the place anytime I budget. And it's not anything like wrong.
That's a you thing, buddy. That's you.
There were so many times where like I realized after the fact that, like, even though they give you like a Pokemon aimer as if you're having like a bow and arrow or a gun in a video game, where if it's like, if you're far away, you aim higher, adjust it to this line, and you'll be able to throw it over something and hit it. If you're too far away to focus, you can't hit a thing with the Pokeball. It'll go right through it. And so
that's something the old Arceus games, God. That's something Arceus did, was I didn't need to lock onto something to throw a Pokeball at to catch it. It would just hit it. And in this game, I will critique it for this, because I feel like they had to take out some things with the catching, as we mentioned. Like, you can't lure, you can't distract, you can't throw things at the Pokemon to take it down. I completely lost my train of thought.
With the catching, the one that's when another time I was having trouble with the toggle of like,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
trying to lock up this aim.
you have to lock
I touch it
something
bit,
on there now.
it's just like
it drives
it's
me
gone
crazy.
way to the side, and that was
Yeah.
another place I was noticing it, and then I eventually realized it was just impossible to do. But a little bit more control with that, I think, would have been really cool. And then a problem I've had with these Pokemon games in general, and this is stupid, it's a nitpick. It does not matter, and it's just a me thing. I hate that they give you dialogue options that all say the same thing. If you're giving me dialogue options, I want choices. I want to be able to react this way or react this way. And in a perfect world, that's why The Witcher 3 is probably my favorite video game of all time. My choices change the story. That's my favorite type of video game. That's my favorite type of RPG, are when my choices impact the story and it changes. So it bothers me so much when I'm sitting there and it's like, would you like to come on this journey with me? And the options are, yes, absolutely. Or, yes. Like, come on. At least give me two different types of replying, like, or just don't give me an option.
Ryan can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like the only Pokemon game that actually gave you like a snarky reply at the very least was like Sun and Moon. And it would just be like, do I look good in this hat? Yes. No. But in the end, it wouldn't change the interaction, just being mean. Like nothing changed. But I do remember there was a Pokemon game where it was like you can pretty snarky throughout the whole thing.
I haven't played Sun and Moon's the only generation of Pokemon I haven't played. But I think there might be some stuff like that in Pokemon Ranger, if I'm remembering correctly, because Ranger has a bit more of an eccentric kind of style to it, and some of the mystery dungeons as well. Every now and again in the mystery dungeon, you get to say something really mean, and that's about it, really.
I mean, this could, we won't dive into it, but like, because this could be its own show. And I think actually this is a great idea for a show. Damon, write this down. Is if we were building our own Pokemon game, what would it look like? And
well, I don't want to talk about leaks and stuff, but it would look something like that.
and so, I haven't seen that, so I'm actually interested.
Oh, you haven't heard about this?
No, and so we'll
Ryan,
talk off camera about that.
Okay.
Or you can talk here. I don't care. I guess we have no affiliation with Pokemon. Who cares?
So I can't remember when this was like kind of leaked and stuff, but it came out right before this game, and there are allegations, reports that we kind of have the path of what Pokemon's going to do until like about 2030, and that includes Gen 10. And what Gen 10 sounds like it can be is amazing. Now, there have also allegedly been images of the concept art. Everyone's like, look at this concept art. I also want to point people in the direction of what the Paldea concept art looked like and what we got. So let's all kind of hold our breath on that. But this is a game allegedly being developed just for the Switch 2, pushing it to as much as it can go. And it's like island hopping, and the islands are kind of like maybe generated differently throughout every single person. And it's like it's a journey, and it's random, and it's has potential to be very, very, very cool.
A random journey that's different for everybody sounds absolutely incredible, and like
Minecraft-esque. Like if you make a world in Minecraft, it is different than someone else's like generated square.
Yeah, would be very cool. I feel like my ideal scenario would be very open world to the point that there is Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh. You get to choose where you start.
Ryan, do you want to tell them about the other part of
this? Buckle up, buddy.
Hell yeah. Where it's like you get to choose which one of those you start in, and all of them are eventually conquerable. That would be my dream. So if that's kind of what you're telling me could be in the cards, that is exciting. And then above all else would be like, I want my choices to directly impact the plot of this game. if I lose, I want it to mean something and not just start me back exactly where I was. If I don't want to help somebody, then it impacts the game. If I do want to help somebody, it impacts those connections. If I want to join Team Rocket, I can join Team Rocket. Like that's kind of would be my
you almost could at the beginning of this game and it stops you. When you're able to choose your 3 starters, you could go up to the Pancham in the back and be like, I want this one. And it stops you at the last minute.
What do you think? Who is your starter of choice in this one? Ryan, I'll throw it to you first. We have 2 from the same gen. We have 2 from Gen 2 with Chikorita and Totodile. I thought that was an odd choice. With Tepig being the fire one. Who did you go with?
I went with Totodile. Totodile is probably my favorite Pokemon ever. I think I'd really love to know. I wonder if they're in the leaks, like why they decided upon these 3 Pokemon to be the starters. Like I find that so fascinating. Like what made them narrow it down to these 3? Because if I'm remembering correctly from Arceus, it was Oshawott, Cyndaquil, and who else?
Owl.
Yeah, the owl guy. And
Rowlet.
they had one.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, there you go.
I was gonna say I kept saying Decidueye, but that's its final form.
Yeah, exactly. But no, like 3 different generations, and this time they've doubled up on Gen 2. I just wonder what the philosophy is there. It just seems
like it feels like a layup to me to have done Charmander, Totodile, and why am I forgetting?
Okay, I can already tell you why it can't be. I can already tell you why it can't be 2 of those options you just listed. Because they already have Mega Evolutions. They chose 3 Pokemon that obviously didn't already have Mega Evolutions, were kind of pushed to the side, and needed a form or something to push them that they didn't already have. There is nothing that Emboar has. Emboar is like out of all the firefighting types, the worst one. The one people like the least. So we got to give it a little love. Chikorita. Everyone people kind of love the bag on Chikorita because it's like the least.
I love Chikorita. I picked Chikorita as my starter. I regretted it because there's so many. I regretted it because there's so many more grass Pokemon at the start of this game than there are water Pokemon, and so I really regretted not going Totodile. But I went with my guy Chikorita because he's adorable.
They needed to do something for Meganium to give it a little bit of extra love, and then for Alligator and Totodile, I feel like. Well, we kind of picked 2 of the least favorite starters of ours. Let's give the Totodile fans some love, and everyone. The memes are always great when it comes to Totodile.
I mean, based on the leaks, there's one other theory, and it's that this game was supposed to be Legends Johto. Like this game was supposed to be a Johto set Legends game set in like distant past Johto, and they scrapped it. So I wonder if this was just like a little nod towards that. I know that would have been really cool. I know.
I love Johto so much.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think it's the best one necessarily, but genuinely my favorite Pokemon game of all time might be Crystal. I think that, and so that would have been really, really cool. All right. Last thing I wanted to talk about. What's our party? We got 6 guys. None of us I am Damon. I think you're just slightly ahead of me right now.
Yeah, I'm
What's
9.5 hours.
Or at least the core you're rolling out right now?
Okay. Anytime I'm in Kalos, I need my Talonflame. So because I picked Totodile, it's already for Alligator. My favorite type is Ghost. So I had a Haunter, and I was like, okay, there has to be some way in this game for me to evolve a Haunter without having to trade it, right? Quick Google, the answer is no. So
I have a Kadabra that I'm looking to level up, so we should just do a little swap.
Sure. Back. So that got put back in the box, replaced with a Shuppet. That's going to turn into a Bannet at some point. Sableye And a Kalos Pokemon. This is what I love about these games. A Kalos Pokemon I never used, but I'm using it in this game because it's an absolute beast. Is Pangoro. That thing hits hard in this game, and fighting types seem very strong in this game specifically. So that's been a lot of fun to use. Not a ghost type, but dark is close enough.
Ryan, how about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in myself for how early gen I stayed with my team. Like I wanted to spread it out. I went in with the best intentions of like spreading it out across the generations, and I ended up defaulting quite badly to Gen 1 to 3. I will say about the people you need to trade to evolve, they end up just appearing in the wild zones later on in the game. Like you can go get yourself a Gengar or a Alakazam just by themselves, so it is helpful. But yeah, I chose Totodile, and then like early on in the game, I found like really early on, I found an Alpha Magikarp that was level 32, when the rest of my team was like level 17, and I was like, I need that, and then I evolved it into a Gyarados, so I had an Alpha Gyarados on my team that was kind of OP. A lot of my team were found just through them being alphas, like Arbok. I had an Alpha Arbok that I found. That was really high level.
Nightmare. On that roof, that thing is. Some of the alphas chasing you in this game, they put in intentional.
That's the time I died the most by far.
I've yet to die. I've yet to die, but those things like they put. DJ, I don't want to spoil anything for you. There's a Sharpedo that's in the game. It jumps out of the goddamn water.
Oh, I've been attacked by the Sharpedo. I've been attacked.
Oh my lord!
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, it's gonna stay down the.
How many wild zones are you at, Damon?
I have completed all 10 in my game right now, like catching wise, and I'm in the midst of a rank up from F to E.
Okay, so yeah, you're very.
I don't know how deep.
I haven't completed them all, but I've gone into all 10 wild zones, and then I just started the missions to find the three people. The 3 mega evolutions. But I've been doing a ton of the side things. I've been doing like just a ton of the little exclamation marks that pop up all over the city. Because they load up you with like the experience cubes, and I want as many of those as I can. I'm rolling out right now. I got a Charizard, I got a Gyarados. I too have a Talonflame because that is one of my favorite Pokemon as well, Damon. Like that is by far the best of just like the random birds you can catch at the beginning of games. Fletchling to Talonflame, like nothing else compares. It's like, what if you could get a Pidgeot that was?
It's like the best early bird route, yeah.
Yeah. What if you could get a Pidgeot that also knew flying moves? It's essentially like what you're getting with Talonflame. I love it. I can't remember off the top of my head who else that I have in there, but I too have like a few alphas that I've been coming across. Heracross is one that I've been rolling with after a while. I didn't really. I don't know how long this has been a thing in Pokemon games, but I do find it annoying that like in this, which you haven't needed in a while, you need to have your Pokemon know an attack to Rock Smash and things like that. You can't just like randomly do it. But what I didn't know is that you can do it with Brick Break instead of Rock Smash.
Yeah. You can do a few things with multiple moves in this game.
Yeah. And so I haven't figured out how to do anything other than Smash Rocks yet, though, personally.
So like Slash, Aerial Ace can take down, or fire moves can take down the Thorns. Water and Psychic moves
I thought I needed like to find the Cut or something.
No, you just slash it.
Things,
Okay, and then the water takes down the gunky stuff?
Yeah, water and psychic moves. Because I was like, all right, it's poison. Let me use psychic type. And then I saw somebody use surf on him. I'm like, oh, that's so much better. Can I give just a couple annoying nitpicks? Like these are like, the compass in this game is ass. It's stuck on north, and it drives me nuts. And I'm like, can you just like, instead of on north, follow my direction so I can just like knowing when to go up. That drives me nuts. The other one, when you are taking down like boulders and stuff, I wish there wasn't a cooldown on your moves
Yeah.
to take down the boulders, because it's like, I got one, there's 4 left, and theoretically I can get through, but I feel like a lot of us who play this game really want all of them gone for reasons, and now I just have to sit here and wait for my thing to charge back up to get the next one and next one.
Especially when you
agree.
get up the mega shards, those shards, and you go to an area of loads. It's so frustrating. Well, yeah, that is really annoying.
And the last thing I'll bring up, now I'm getting into spoiler stuff, a story, but I don't want to, but I will say this. I found out through one line of dialogue in this game, this takes place 5 years after the events of X and Y. And I had someone come up right essentially after where TJ's at, that made me jump out of my seat. And I'm like, so in on the story again. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. And I know this person's going to show up and TJ's going to be like, who's this?
You're going to have a laugh with the connections.
I'm so excited for the XY connections, because we all thought when that game came out that Pokemon Z was going to be a couple years away, TJ, and we never got it. There was no sequel game. There was no third game for X and Y. It just happened and it left. And this game feels like a beautiful follow-up so far to that story.
Well, I did the Wikipedia read, but I'll have to get even more invested in the story, because it's not like I'm going to go play it, pause this game, and then go play it, come back to this game. And so I'll do an even more in-depth.
You can beat X and Y in like 8 hours
than the Wikipedia one.
X and Y in 8 hours, with how slow those characters move in that game, how slow those cutscenes take. Good.
Oh man,
Jesus
I thought the
Christ.
first 2 hours of this game was a tutorial.
God, it was taking so long. I was feeling the same way. Like, it kept me in tutorial mode for way too long.
Essentially, once when you finally finish, to me, the detective stuff, like you do the 3 detective missions, after that, I feel like tutorial's over. But like, it takes so long to get to that point.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, that'll do it for this episode of the Agents Fandom podcast. There are probably more nits we could pick and more praise we could give, but we've already been here for over an hour, and frankly, I want to go back to playing this game a little bit. And so, Damon, you can find him again next week. We'll be talking about the finale of Gen V. We'll be talking, and then he'll be on the Comic Corner as well. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. Where can the people find you on socials? Where can they find your content?
Yeah. If you just go to my Twitter, it's at Ryan Guar, my name, just my name. You can find all my articles and everything that I post there about movies, animation, games, whatever. It's all there.
Heck yeah, give Ryan a follow and stay tuned. Make sure you follow the Agents of Fandom on socials, at Agents Fandom on TikTok and Twitter, Agents of Fandom everywhere else. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Hit the like button on YouTube. Make sure you follow, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our content. Thank you so much for tuning in today, everyone. We will see you next time. On behalf of myself, Damon, Ryan, peace.